Yeah, I'm kinda stressed and busy right now, if you couldn't tell already. CC6 just announced, and I have to make battle plans. How'd you lose another Fumo? Oh my god. This time, you have to find it yourself, cause I need to properly prepare these strats. Permanent Map Guide! Now, this time, it's for CC6. Remember that this video is just to give you some guidance with operator recommendations and map knowledge, and Risk 18 is always clearable with an E2 core, so now that that's out of the way, let's do some planning. This map has mechanics from Originium Dust, and I know a lot of new people probably started around Desoul's Holiday or Under Tides, so if you haven't experienced the map mechanics from Originium Dust, or just need a refresher, I'll give a quick explanation. The map has a sandstorm blowing from one direction to the other. Allies inside the sandstorm have reduced attack and take continuous damage, which sucks. If the operator is retreated or dies, then they will have increased redeployment time. Enemies inside the sandstorm are slowed. Now, these dirt mound thingies on the map block the sandstorm in whatever direction they're blowing. The dirt mounds also lose HP because they're obviously blocking the sandstorm, and having them break is to prevent massive stalling shenanigans from happening in the map. But for the majority of clears, you won't really have to worry about the dirt mounds breaking because you'll be finished before then. The map has the sandstorm blowing from left to right without taking any risks, but there are enemies that beat up the dirt mounds, specifically these two. This means your safe tile are going to be these ones. There are risks that change the direction of the sandstorm. Instead of blowing from left to right, this one makes it blow right to left. This means now these are your available tiles to work with. Week 2 adds another quirky sandstorm risk, making it blow top to bottom. This alters your tiles to this. The map doesn't have any banned tile risks since the sandstorm itself acts as banned tiles. There are 4 main enemies that impact how you tackle this map. The first are the Tiaka Fanatics, but I'll just call them Brawler Crocs, because that's a lot easier. They spawn from up here and take this pathing into the dirt mound, punching it down. Once this path opens, all your general mobs will take this pathing towards the left instead. You do not want to block these dudes. They inflict -10 defense on each hit, doubling the debuff with this risk. The debuff is permanent and stacks infinitely, meaning your operators can get reduced to 0 defense, which is definitely not good. Your best solution is just some form of ranged DPS and crowd control. Next up are the Tiaku Ritualists or Caster Crocs. These guys deal ranged arts damage. When blocked, they gain 200 defense and deal 400% of their attack as physical damage, which should deter you from blocking them. Their base attack stat is pretty low, only at 250, but what's super annoying is the risk 2 that comes with them. This risk makes it so that the Caster Crocs get more range, able to target your ops from across the map. This wouldn't be so much of a problem if they weren't so goddamn slow. These dudes take 2 steps and then do another ranged attack, meaning they're going to be on the map for quite a while. It especially sucks that you have to deal with more than one of them at a time. They come out from this spawn and take this U-shaped pathing. These little invis sniper dudes are not really that problematic. They're only allowed to quick scope your operators from across the map if you deploy your operators in the sandstorm, which you shouldn't really be doing in the first place. The only operator that isn't a fast redeploy that you can put in the sandstorm is Texas with Pot 5 Bagpipe, because her skill is only 2 seconds off from immediately proccing, which the sniper dudes don't have enough time to delete her from existence. They come out from this spawn and just sit here for a while before taking this path to the exit. Then there are the red mark infiltrators. When they get hit, they activate their microchip, producing a hologram. The infiltrator itself can't attack or be blocked when the hologram is out, and the hologram shoots your ops instead. Strategically, they're not that hard to work around, but because of this funny line, they made a lot of players mauled over RNG due to their ability to dodge when inside the sandstorm, which is coincidentally when you're going to be trying to murder them. Red mark infiltrators come out from this spawn and take this pathing. The most problematic enemy this CC are the Tiaka Braves. They are extremely tanky and when blocked can only take damage from the blocker. So what's the solution? Don't block them. Like with every CC, the issues are the risks that come with the enemy instead of the actual enemy itself. Especially with this risk that makes them invisible, you need to find quirky ways around that in order to kill them. Or you can just leak some of them. Since the map mechanics are a little more complicated this time, let's do an overview of all the pathing and sandstorm stuff one last time. For starters, this massive pit of death is a thing. When the map starts, general mobs will come from the top and try going to the right, but a brawler croc will also spawn and start doing the funny JoJo to this dirt mound. This alters the top spawn pathing to go to the left instead. A duelist croc will spawn here, waiting a couple seconds, then walk down to this dirt mound where he will throw hands at the dirt mound, stalling him for a couple of seconds. Once he destroys the dirt mound, he will make his way to the exit. From then on, sniper dudes, casters, and infiltrators will come out from this spawn at the right. Infiltrators take this pathing, casters take the U-turn, and snipers will just sit there for a while before taking the right path. The default sandstorm blows left to right, so your safe tiles will look like this, but if you take the risk that makes them blow right to left, then your tiles will turn into this. Week 2 has another risk that makes the sandstorm blow from top to bottom, meaning your tiles will look like this. Both the enemies and the sandstorm really want you to not have anything blocking the enemies, so everyone basically used ranged DPS and a ton of crowd control to kill everything. High risk runs can get extremely tight, as these 3 tiles, including the blue box, will be used as a kill zone to group all the enemies and murder them together. For risk recommendations, I would definitely avoid stacking enemy attack with caster crocs, since their damage can get nasty fast with how long they stay on the map for. There's also your standard DP down 3 requiring 4 vanguards again, and instead of straight attack down, we get attack speed down on week 2, which is really fun watching your ops take 20 minutes to do a single attack. Since the duelist crocs are the main threat, you also have the option of just not taking the 1 HP seal tag, which allows you to leak 2 crocs. This can provide some massive breathing room for your burst strats. This CC has class risks split between guards and specialists versus casters and supporters. Guards and specialists reached max risk, while casters and supporters reached 1 risk less. Let's start with guards and specialists first. You have the infamous Catman. He's great in the week 2 sandstorm risk because he has this specific tile that allows him to safely swing the casters and snipers out of existence with a little awk buffing. He also has his redeploy talent that gets used with Kafka for stalling the final duelist croc. Speaking of awk, there are no defense down risks, so feel free to shoot all the allies you want. The infamous awk and mudrock combo works wonders against every enemy on this map. Gladia is also another great pick. She can pull the first croc brawler with her second skill into the hole, giving you way more ample time to set up. At the end of the run, Gladia can also pull the casters down the hole, saving you lots of time when you're panicking because the dirt mountains broke. For casters and supporters, you have your usual suspects. Aya's burst damage with S3 is extremely powerful, especially since it can attack multiple targets. Since your main kill zone is going to be concentrated around the blue box for high risk, she's great to bring for the amount of damage she packs in a small amount of time. Kyobei is the anti-duelist croc doggo. Her talent that lets her scale damage off of enemy defense pairs well against them. Bring her for her high single target arts damage. For any arts damage centered squad, bringing Ifrit is a must. She's the strongest arts resistance debuffer in the game, pairing well with Aya and Kyobei, and her crowd control with her S3 will burn through the toughest of enemies. Her tile, which is only useful during week 1, is right above the blue box. Face her down and watch her melt most enemies. Suzerain is a great general damage amplifier and slower. If you couldn't tell by now, crowd control in this map is extremely important because you really don't want to be blocking these enemies. Her range expansion allows for a wide slow area, and she can amplify both physical and arts damage, making her used in both class risks. Note that the risks don't outright ban the usage of the other classes. For example, even though max risk chose the tag that made casters and supporters cost triple their DP, Suzerain was still brought. Plenty of caster and supporter clears chose the risk against the guard and specialists, but still brought Sitter and Silver Ash. For high risk, most of your damage will come from snipers, so your damage isn't going to be centered around the classes in the risks. For universal operators, you have the operator that allowed for max risk in the first place. Shelter with buffers, such as Warfin or Skulter, basically solo carries this entire map. With her defense down, movement speed reduction, and range expansion, as well as the extremely long uptime on S3, anything in her range gets melted. Good damage, range, and slow, which you're going to need a lot of. Shelter gets her tile at week 2 with the Sandstorm risk, which is right here. On week 2, the tile below Shelter becomes a good Schwartz or Ash tile, great for getting extra damage in on the Duelist Crocs and pesky infiltrators that come your way. Schwartz has her defense reduction for getting even more damage in, while Ash's stun on her second skill provides breathing room for more damage. If you're trying to do anything in near high risk, Nightingale becomes a must. You can do some funny tech with her where you deploy her and then instantly retreat her, which makes her next deployment have 3 cages. Her talent that grants ally arts resistance along with her S3 that massively buffs res can basically make your ops immune to the caster crocs, which are the main sources of damage on the map. Her cages are pivotal for baiting their attacks too, allowing you to safely deploy other ops. Mudrock is used in the CC for the same reasons she's been used in practically every CC. Her shields block damage instances, giving her great stall potential. The AoE slow and stun on her S3 are essential to a lot of strategies because of how this map is set up, and she also gains multi-target damage with her S3, making her great for killing a lot of the smaller mobs. There's a DP down 3 risk, which means you're going to have to bring the classic flag pipe with either Texas or Saga as your last vanguard. If you're stuck on choosing Texas or Saga as your 4th vanguard, the easiest way to answer this is to see if your strat has Ashe trying to kill a Tiaka Brave. If it does, then bring Texas so you can chain stuns with Ashe and Ashe can get more damage in. If not, then Saga would provide a more stable opener. Bring Elysium on S2 as usual for the movement speed reduction, but also to reveal invisible enemies, since there's that contract that makes the Duelist Croc invisible. Anyways, that's it. Map's more complicated than usual, but Risk 18 has been cleared with an Aya core and some 3-star and 4-stars, so if you're new to CC, don't be worried too much. Any luck? That's tough. Well, I'm gonna be off to distribute these papers. You have fun finding your female. I'll help you when I have the free time.